the COVID-19 pandemic still a threat in New Jersey, it has become difficult for many up-and-coming artists to perform their work in a live showcase environment. Hi, I'm Scott Samber from the St. Asbury Park, New Jersey. Due to this pandemic, our club has been closed for months now, leaving many new and talented upcoming musicians with little or no opportunity to perform live. We all have to do our part to get through this thing, so now I am taking the time to introduce everyone to Tara Dente, a very talented new artist whose music is based in the Americana genre of music. Her sound includes folk, country, rhythm and blues, and spiritual musical styles. Tara's band includes an upright bass, electric guitar, drums, violin, and at times an organ and piano. Tara's third album is titled Truth in the Mud. So Tara, tell us a little bit about yourself, your musical career, and about some inspiration that lies behind your new album.
Thank you, Scott, so much for being here today. A longtime friend. I mean, maybe 6 years, 7 years? I'm not sure how long it's been. It feels longer, but I'm really grateful for you to be here today to ask me some questions about my new album.
You're welcome.
The Saint has been a very steady supporter of my music from the beginning, giving me chances to perform acoustically as an opener for touring acts and my friends, and helping me to feel comfortable. Best sound in the whole state, I think. And so I'm very grateful that you're here today.
I'm curious, where did you grow up in New Jersey?
So I grew up in Long Branch. I spent pretty much my first 25 years there at one house, so I guess I can count myself fortunate for that reason. So yeah, I went to school in Long Branch. I was actually homeschooled till 6th grade in Long Branch by my mom.
How was that?
I was ready to go to school by 6th grade. I was itching to get out of the house, and I had a lot of time to develop myself creatively, I would say. There was a piano in the house, so I was able to learn piano by ear a little bit, and she provided some lessons for me. I didn't really take to that too much, but yeah, I grew up playing the piano in my living room and having a lot of time to just paint and make art, and I did learn math and science and all those things. But
so was your life like structured during the school day?
It was, but less.
It wasn't school, but
less so than my peers, I'm sure. So which is to a detriment in some ways, and also created a lot of room for me to explore and be creative. But I still to this day feel like I can't function before 9 a.m. So it's hard for me to. I would wake up later.
So looking back towards that time period, in your head, it was a good time period.
Yes. Overwhelmingly, yes. I don't think I knew what I was missing at the time. I didn't know kind of what was out there, in terms of peers and the structure that existed in schools. So, yeah, I was kind of lost in my own little world in a lot of ways.
And what year did you enter into the years of school that you missed? What was the first year that you were going back to school on a regular basis?
I was 12, so for me it was 6th grade.
6th grade.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then you went to junior high. Is it? Long Branch has junior high.
Middle school, I guess you could consider that junior high. Yeah, we called it Long Branch Middle School. So I got my start there.
Tara, so when did you get into music?
So like I said before, we did have a piano in the living room, which was great. So I was able to just sit down and kind of plunk away and pick out melodies and explore that instrument, which was a really good foundation. I really loved the piano.
Were you self-taught?
I learned by ear, yeah, and there were lessons sprinkled in, so I had a little bit of theory knowledge, but for the most part I really liked hearing something in my head and trying to match it on the piano. So, and then I grew up going to church, so church was a big part of music, so I was kind of taught by some people on the worship team. I was taught chords, how to play chords in a group, so I learned how to play with a group of people when I was adolescence, I would say, or pre-adolescence, and so that was really important for me too, to learn how to work with other musicians and kind of be a part of something bigger than myself. So church was really big in influencing also my style of music. Spiritual music was really prevalent in my household. So was Celtic music. My mom loved river dance and Celtic influenced music. She's Irish, my dad's Italian, so she influenced the music a little bit more in the household. And then I discovered guitar when I was about 18. So I was taught 5 chords or so, and I really latched on to guitar. So I just started playing guitar mostly and kind of left piano behind for a while. Oh, and I skipped over high school and college. High school, I had a great piano teacher named Miss Powers. So that class really helped me cut my teeth on some classical music and learn the discipline of reading sheet music. But once I learned it and performed it, it was out of my mind. It was gone.
So you can read music.
I could. I did before. It's a kind of a skill that has faded away. I could relearn, but it lasted for a little bit. It did teach me some discipline. I loved playing like Chopin and playing these difficult pieces. It was challenging in a good way. And then college, I took a couple of basic theory courses. I took a piano class. So I kind of got back into piano again. And I was given a lot of freedom.
Where did you get?
So I started at Brookdale.
Okay.
And then I transferred to Kane later, but I took up psychology later. So the first half was kind of experimental music, a little bit of everything, studying everything.
But music was your backbone to your life.
Definitely. I mean, it always has been. I feel like that's always been, in the background, and now it's finally coming forward. So, I've always had a little bit of instruction here and there, and great teachers, great support. My parents have always supported me playing music. They could have. I hear these stories about kids that grew up, wanting to play drums, and their parents wouldn't get them a drum kit or whatever it is, or they didn't have the resources. So I had supportive people all along the way.
Truth in the Mud.
Mm-hmm.
Does it go back to your younger years and as a musician? Is that where it came out of, or did it came out of in your current day?
Yeah. So Truth in the Mud refers to there's a place down the road from where I grew up in Long Branch called Pleasure Bay Apartments, and then there's a baseball field, and behind that there's the bay, and there's this little area when it's low tide where you can kind of play, and we played there, my sister and me and my brother.
It's peaceful.
Yeah, it was kind of secluded.
It felt, was yours.
Yeah, it's when you can't drive, you don't, we had bikes, but when you can't drive and you're just walking everywhere, exploring getting the lay of the land as a kid, and you want to know you want to find places that are your own.
Exactly.
And so this,
I understand that.
Mm-hmm, and this little spot was a place where we just got really dirty, and we would usually come home with soaking wet shoes, and and we weren't. I want to say we were a little bit less self-aware than your average pre-adolescent person, just because of we didn't have phones. We also weren't going to school. We kind of were in our at home. We were going to school. So I was in my own little world.
So it was a lot of talking as opposed to texting.
Oh yes, yeah, and just touching things, getting your hands dirty. So Truth in the Mud, and that the title song, the title track, is about that place and growing up there, and what that felt like.
Tara, so you have a new album out, a new CD?
Yeah, I do.
Entitled?
Truth in the Mud.
Truth in the Mud.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us how this started, recorded, the background.
So, back in 2018, my band and I drove to the Traviana Records recording studio, which is on the property of Mark Hodges, who is the president of Traviana Records, and we all went as a group and just kind of hunkered down for several days, and we recorded all the I recorded my scratch tracks, and they recorded all of their parts, the drums, electric guitar, and upright bass, and then later we added a couple other instruments. But it was really fun, and we had to ad-lib a little bit here and there because we hadn't been a band for very long, so we didn't have a lot of pre-production time, but we managed to get it done. And then
so there was it kind of gelled there.
Yeah, that was definitely our first experience like that together. So this is the first album I have with this particular band. Chris DeBrow on upright bass, Chris Colon on electric guitar, and Santo Rizzolo on drums. And then later we added Nicole Scorzone on violin. George Mason is an incredible strings player who he added some great sounds on Hill So Steep. And then we also have Andy Keenan on Hill So Steep playing pedal steel, who is based in Philly. So we had a couple guests on Hill So Steep, and
with that amount of musicians, the sound reflects that.
Yeah,
it's
thank
very
you.
deep and full, and
they
the sound spectrum is filled.
I'm thrilled to hear that feedback. I think having played solo for so long and then hearing a song come to life in this way is super gratifying, and I'm really, really excited about how everything sounds with this group of people. I think we all gelled really well together.
I personally told you that this was the record that steps you up into people critically listening to you now.
You were right about that, I think. I think we've been getting a lot of feedback, and like three's a charm, right? And we've been getting a lot of good feedback from people and reviews, and it feels like that big leap forward. And yeah, we used to have conversations in the back of the Saint about, you know, my progress, and that was always really helpful to me. But so I went back a few months later to do my vocals and guitar, and then we tied up some loose ends with Steve Greenwell, based in Asbury Park, New Jersey. He helped to bring everything together. He did some post-production. That's when we added pedal steel violin, and so I was really fortunate. I had a really great team around me.
Steve does the magic.
Yeah, he's really very good, and he's got a lot of years under his belt, and he's sought after. So I feel very fortunate that, you know, this person is out in my backyard, basically.
Things fell into place for this record, right?
I would say so, you know.
Everything came together for you.
It's, you know, it's like I can only take so much credit as just putting the feelers out, and it's up to everyone else to respond. And I'm paraphrasing this quote, but it's kind of like when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in your life, like people come to your side to help you.
Exactly.
Mark might have even said that, Mark Hodges, but that's how I felt. People came to my side to help, and so it was delayed a bit, you know, like we had some bumps in the road, but we're sitting here about a year and a half later, and it's now released, and COVID delayed it even further, but it's like, you know, in some ways I feel like
it was supposed to come out when? What was it? What was the date before COVID came?
We were looking, I think it was like February, March, we were looking at that, so it was, you know, landed just on that cusp.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there's some sort of even greater desire for music right now, and like, you know, a withdrawal from that, and so it's not ideal to not be able to like perform live and perform for people right now, but I think that it's being well received, especially because everyone's just really hungry for the arts and for music, and so that's what I'm hoping is the silver lining.
Now, I heard you were in Nashville lately, in the last few weeks?
I was supposed to go to Nashville to do a solo tour, which was delayed and are you know, canceled essentially, but but it'll still be there, and so not this time around, but I definitely want to, you know, I had a couple of dates lined up, and I was planning to you know, introduce myself to some people. And
have you ever played Nashville?
I haven't, no. And it's actually referenced in one of my songs.
No.
No.
Same here. I've never been to Nashville. One of the few cities.
You're wearing Sun Studio shirt.
One of the few cities. Well, this is Memphis. It's
oh, that's in Memphis.
Memphis.
Oh, see, my Tennessee
I've never
knowledge.
been to Tennessee. One of the few states I haven't been to is Tennessee.
I referenced Tennessee in the last song on the album called "Ain't No Time." So it's part of my. I feel like it's part of my my story in my mind that eventually, you know, I'm gonna wind up just going and clicking and meeting some people, and because I am in a roots genre, and I think New Jersey has taken well to that because there isn't a lot of that here, but so it's a sound that when it's heard in New Jersey, it's kind of like, ooh, that's a little bit different from what I usually hear.
It's new again.
Yeah, it's and so, you know, in a way, I think if I, you know, it's great to feel kind of special in New Jersey in that way, where you've cut out, you know, the cloth of what you're doing is a little different from the rock and roll and the other scenes going on, and yeah, so that's the album.
Congratulations to everybody involved.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud of it.
New music. I mean, we all need new music, right?
Me especially, yes. I'm happy to provide some of that to everybody who would like to
in
listen.
These times where we need a new beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I think that record in this time is a new beginning for a lot of people that are going to get this record.
Thank you.
You know,
thank you so much.
Definitely take. Well, if we go back to your songwriting, and even a song on this record, can you elaborate any background
of one of the songs?
One of the songs, yeah.
Well, I talked about Truth in the Mud, where I grew up. So Open Seas is a
Yeah,
song that means a lot to
That
me.
song got to me driving here.
Uh,
So tell me more about that
well,
song.
Open Seas it's a emotionally charged song to sing and to have written. I mean, for me personally, and a few of my friends who were close to the man who was written about. So Dave Hayes was an amazing pedal steel player who a lot of people in the New Jersey scene knew.
Dear
And
all our hearts, right? He definitely livened everybody up.
yeah, and he just and one of the lines in the song is like, brought color to sound, and he even said to me at one point, one of the songs that he used to play with me made him see different colors, and he was just a beautiful person and someone
He was a spirit.
He was, and it takes a long time to master the pedal steel, and he was really there. He was like, he just mastered that instrument, and he could jam with anybody, and he's very missed. So the song Open Seas, the reason it's called Open Seas is because he shared with me and a few other, who was close to him. Everyone that knew him knew that he wanted to live on a boat and just kind of travel the seas, and he wanted to dock at a port, go jam with the locals, get on his boat, and then head to the next spot. So I thought that was a really beautiful kind of second life journey that he wanted to live, and after the first half of his life, or first 3/4 of his life, whatever, who knows, because he didn't know how long he had. But so in the song I kind of talk about how I feel like he's maybe still doing that. Maybe he's out there actually
carrying on his spirit of making music and creating it and playing along with other people.
Yeah. So, and the song just kind of happened, and it, I don't know, it just kind of came through me because I that was something I needed to convey to people, how much he meant to me and other people. So, so that's a little bit about the song Open Seas.
Tara, I want to thank you for sharing your inspiration and insight into your new album, Truth in the Mud. This is released through Traviana Records and is available online worldwide. You're going to be world renowned. And now, for your listening pleasure, we present a live performance courtesy of the Video Voyager from the Cottage Studios in Toms River, New Jersey. Please feel free to like and share this performance with your friends and family.
One, two, three. Climbing up a hill so steep off the ground wouldn't let me go. And I closed my eyes and I spun so fast, thought my time had surely come. But I landed soft on a bed so high in a house I did not know. Place the past this nauseous night when I almost died alone. This old car won't make it, always turning around the lights. Sticky wheel with clammy hands and endless paper fights. Oh, the earth will surely push me off. It doesn't want me here, I see. At least these things are only true in the darkness of my dreams. Oh, climb, 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 who said this was okay? Always on the cusp of never seeing another day. Oh, lean into the bright side, 'cause it's all that we can do. When the daytime leaves so heavy that our dreams are heavy too. The shadows lead me face to face like a night on a stormy sea. Swirly waters and heavy clouds make for my shaking knees. seeing another day. But we'll lean into the bright side, 'cause it's all that we can do when the daytime leans so heavy that our dreams are heavy too. Oh God, God, God. Oh God, God, God. Oh God, 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 and do not let me go. God, 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 and please don't let me go. Driving up a hill so steep, thought the ground would let me go. All right, welcome to the live stream. the sun. The reeds were high and the tide was out, and all I knew how to do was run. Thank you for tuning in if you're with us right now. We are playing Truth in the Mud in its entirety, our new album that we just released with Travion Records. Yes. It's called Enough. It's a dirty world out there. Bed in the morning and try not to be too boring. It's competitive out there, and you gotta be memorable. So that was called Enough, and we also have an acoustic. It started out as an acoustic version, and it grew into that, which I love so much, playing that with these guys. And this next one is called Let a Good One Go. 46 scratch has trouble sometimes, but we're getting there. Just let a good one go. Not sure if I'll ever know what could have been if I'd let him win. Would it be forever, him and me, in a wooden house with the honeybees at the top of a tree? Just him and me. For far too long, and the quiet is deep like a ringing gong, and I'm slipping through a tide takes us out. We parted ways. So let a good one go. You're never gonna know what could have been, but the show goes on.
Shout out to any of my students.
Yay! Thank you for breaking the silence. Oh man, that's awesome.
I want to apologize to the sound guy because my pickup just busted and got fixed halfway through that song. So God bless.
Ooh, that's fun. It's a fun adventure.
It's a good time for me.
I have to congratulate my parents on their almost 37 years of marriage, and they got engaged in 1982 on this day.
Happy
Which
anniversary!
is crazy. Yeah. They're going for broke. They want to go forever. God bless them. I think they're watching. I think they use the internet. I'm just kidding, guys. That's
Crazy newfangled internet.
Thank you so much to Tom and Greg, who are behind all this happening, and the Village, not the Village, the Village Voice, the video Voyager. Follow them on Facebook. They're new, so which is why they don't have a lot of likes on Facebook right now. So everybody go like them and get them known. All right. Most of the time I think that I'm just fighting not being a mess. That's what this song is about. You guys good? couple more for you. All right. Whew. I'd like to thank Traviana, Mark and Melody and the whole team over there, and also Steve Greenwell for making this album happen. Yes, a round of applause. And Truth in the Mud is available worldwide online. I don't have a fancy store set up yet on my website, so go to my website, taradente.com, and then you can email me and tell me you'd like me to send you a CD, because that's how I'm doing things in 2020. I'm working on it, though. But there are physical CDs available. You can stream it from anywhere that you stream music. And I really appreciate, sincerely, everyone that is listening and giving it their time. This is called Open Seas. This is actually this is the one that the album is dedicated to Mr. Dave Hayes. Can you take a sip of water? How do you guys feel? Okay.
Sweaty.
Yes, sweaty. Take it away, Santa. You were a man of sweet ways, with your steel strings of honeycomb and your dreams of a roaming sailor's home. You saw colors in the sounds, and you saw the good in me. Now you're standing tall like a redwood tree. May the songs of young dreamers soar. If you were part of a house, you would be the open door. Your smile could grow a field of seeds to a field of flowers. The sun itself struck a deal with you, a smile by the hour. Dave Hayes, we hope you find your treasure as you say. Dave Hayes, your smile's like a fire on the coldest days. And we miss you here for what it's worth. we've got one more song for you. And it's called Ain't No Time, appropriately. I would also like to thank, oh boy, now I have to tune and talk and look and do other things. I would also like to thank Andy Keenan for contributing pedal steel on Hill So Steep, the single that came out, and George Mason, he created an awesome strings section for that song too, so thank you guys so much for that. Pedal steel is an amazing instrument, and if I'm so lucky one day, I'd like to have it on all my songs. Is that me? I want to make sure. That's okay. I can get it myself. I'd also like to thank Jesse Andrew Photography. We're just going to call him by his business name, Jesse Andrew Photography, for the album cover. He's actually sneaking around right now, and you'll find out the results later. And Tim Ziegler Ziegler for the album artwork. I appreciate all you guys, and I'm making a point to thank everyone because it wouldn't have happened with all these people. Without all these people, rather. All right, let's do it. Let's bring it home.
1 second, sorry. That should be good.
All right, cool. Ain't no time to play it safe. Life is short, my days are few. The songs I sing, the roads I make, following the map I drew. Girl from New Jersey, country life I've never known. My compass leads to Tennessee, state of music, city's home. Ain't no time to bid pose, ain't no time to have played roles. Ain't no time, ain't no time, ain't no time for timid souls. Ain't no time for half-ass hoes. Ain't no time, ain't no time, ain't no time. Holes until they glow, rosy red and ashen gray. Leave 'em there a fiery bed until inside my grave I lay. Oh, burn red, fiery coals. Burn red, burn red, burn red, burn red, burn red, burn red, fiery coals. Burn red, burn red, burn red, fiery coals. thank you guys so much for watching and being here with us for our online album release of Truth in the Mud.
Bye.
Bye, 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 bye.